Personal growth is not a matter of learning new information, but of unlearning old limits. Alan Cohen. Welcome back to the Mind Your Business Mentor podcast, where we discuss strategies and insights for living our best life as an entrepreneur. I'm Stephanie, your mentor and host. In today's episode, we will explore the 5D philosophy and how it can help you achieve personal growth and become the best version of yourself. Specifically, we'll be looking at the second D of the philosophy, discover, and how we can use it to uncover old limiting beliefs that may be holding us back. So let's get started. As a quick recap, the 5D philosophy consists of decide, discover, develop, deliver, and dominate. It's a philosophy and a framework that we can apply to various areas of our lives, including personal growth. The discover stage is about exploring our internal and external environment to identify our strengths, weaknesses, values, and purpose. However, it is also about unlearning old limiting beliefs that may be preventing us from reaching our full potential. When you are faced with a difficulty or you have made a mistake, you may have hit a roadblock or just received some type of criticism from someone. What is your self-talk? Now, I want you to give this some thought. Remember when any one of these situations has happened to you, what was the conversation in your mind? What have you been telling yourself? Let's use the situation of making a mistake. You just realized you made a mistake. Now listen to your internal conversation. Can you hear it? Now that you recall the conversation, I want you to identify whether these thoughts represent a growth or a fixed mindset. If your self-talk sounds like this, it's a fixed mindset. I don't know if I can do it. I was born this way. I can't change that. It's not my fault. These limiting beliefs, personality architects, I just learned that word this week, and fixed mindsets around different issues rise up to protect our status quo. If when these circumstances happen and your self-talk sounds like this, I'm not sure if I can do it now, but I think I can learn to do it with time and effort. Or, most successful people had failures along the way. That is a growth mindset, acknowledging the truth about the present, but making room for the possibilities. One way to unlearn old limiting beliefs is to challenge our assumptions and beliefs about ourselves and the world. For example, we may have internalized beliefs such as, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve success, I'm too old or even too young to do this. These benefits may have served us in the past, but they are not necessarily true or helpful to us on the journey of becoming the asset we were designed to be. Therefore, we need to question them and replace them with more empowering and accurate beliefs. Another way to unlearn old limiting beliefs is to expose ourselves to new experiences and perspectives. When we stay in our comfort zone and only interact with people who share our views, we limit our growth potential. However, when we expose ourselves to diverse ideas, cultures, and challenges, we expand our mind and realize that old limits were arbitrary and unnecessary. So let me give you an example from my personal experience. I used to believe that I was not analytical and that I could only excel in creative and free-flowing tasks. However, when I started exploring numbers and technical tasks such as building spreadsheets, building databases, and code, I realized that being analytical is not a fixed trait, but a skill that could be developed and nurtured. Moreover, I discovered that my creativity enhanced my problem-solving skills and gave me a different perspective. So I got addicted to one of the tasks. Let's just take this example, building spreadsheets. I got addicted to it to a certain degree. And I'm a planner. So this was back in 2018 when I was basically rebuilding my life. And I needed to list out every single dollar that I had spent that was being expected to be spent, in the form of bills, and how much money I needed to make to take care of the past, the present, as well as the future. But it was my creativity that gave me the ability to create a simple, understandable spreadsheet that made so much sense that I could use it on a daily basis. It took all that stuff that was sitting up in my head and on paper, those slips of paper that you get in the mail, we call them bills, for me to line it out so that I could see a full picture and then design it in a way that I wouldn't miss a beat. I wouldn't overlook any aspect, so that I could develop a plan that would put every single dollar that I earned to work, to healing the past, to sustaining the present, and to support the future that that I could see for myself. I had taken an analytical tool mixed with my creativity and provided myself a financial plan that simplified my financial situation, which gave me a lot of peace. All I had to do was stick to the plan. Now I have another story I'd like to share with you, but I'm going to make it brief. So this will be a summarized version of this story. You would have to tune into another episode to hear the full story. And I call it The Boardroom. This was back in 15, maybe even 16. And I was inundated with self-talk. I could not turn my brain off. I was going through some things that I was desperately seeking some type of understanding and was seeking for answers to solve the situation that I was in. Then it hit me. I was like, what are you doing? So let me explain. In this vision that I had in my mind, I was sitting at the end of the table, and around the table were a bunch of people. They were all females. And I started noticing that those females looked like myself. And I was listening to what the one on the left was saying, and I was listening to the one on the right was saying. I even listened to the one that was standing up against the wall was saying. And I noticed that the conversation was more like an argument versus a discussion. But if you're following me, that argument was with myself. And on that day, I made a decision. As much turmoil and discord that is outside of me, I will not accept arguing with myself. I will not accept being my own enemy. That day, I decided I will always be my own best friend. There are many great books that can help change your limiting beliefs. Here are some suggestions. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck. Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. The Four Agreements, I love that book, by Don Miguel Ruiz. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. These books can provide valuable insights and techniques for changing limiting beliefs and achieving personal growth. If you didn't catch the entire list, you can always listen to this podcast again, hint, hint, or you can simply go to the episode on the website, themindyourbusinessmentor.com. There is a list on the podcast transcript. In conclusion, the discover stage of the 5D philosophy is not only about finding our strengths and purpose, but also about unlearning our old limiting beliefs that are holding us back. By challenging our assumptions and exposing ourselves to new experiences, we can expand our mind and realize our full potential. So I encourage you to reflect on your own limiting beliefs and see if there are any that you can unlearn and replace with more empowering ones. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Mind Your Business Mentor podcast. If you enjoyed this content, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and share it with your friends and family. Also, don't forget to check out our website for more information on each episode. If you found yourself wanting to take notes, you can get them straight from the episode post. If you have any questions or content that you would like to hear, you can submit that on the website as well. It has been a pleasure. Until next time, advice from your mentor, mind your business.